Salty. This monkey's for you, bud. What?
I'm not demanding, I'm asking
What?
nicely. As a kind civilian that also knows how to manipulate cops.
This is 22-year-old Russell Jones. Just hours prior to the filming of this interrogation footage, he was arrested for helping a 15-year-old girl
this
execute the brutal
makes it
murder of
easier
her father.
to deal with
Let's,
the
set our
things
clock,
because,
shall we?
well,
In approximately 3 seconds, we witness an extreme shift in his demeanor.
well, again, for the Sharps case to be out here, it seems like you helped already. I'm trouble worried about you, bud. Already, if anything, in 90 day, I mean, obviously the softer model before you got to pay back the crucible time of beating somebody's head in with a baseball bat for a 15-year-old. It's going to hurt. I'm not real sure how old you are.
So,
You look
we
like
can
you're
do
over
this
18.
the nice way,
I'm
or we can do
concerned.
it the hard way, and
But
can
I don't
release my
necessarily, I mean, it
bipolar.
usually goes that way,
Let's
but
make
to
it
the
equal.
end of it,
Do-do-do-do.
early incidents,
1,
playing through, probably didn't like you hanging out with it.
I see
15
Ellie
still
and
could be high
Gavin,
school
because they
game
are
inside
both
of here,
under
so
my
I gotta be
protection.
careful.
3.
The kids
Before
in
you
school,
release Ellie
Oxford,
to
clearly.
her parents,
You know, but they can't do anything about it because
do a
it's not
background
inside of there.
check as
Again,
well
what I'm doing
as
right here.
a DNA test as well
Kinda the
as
same
well,
thing?
not DNA, a drug
Different.
test. And if you
I bet,
find
well,
out
not
that
in an
her
interrogation room. I'm certainly sat with a cop a
parent,
few times.
her mom, is in fact doing drugs, you are to release
That's always
her
fun enough.
to me. Tell him to release Gavin
The guy named Mongor.
and Ellie. Thank you. And I know I'm being recorded. You.
That's one you're not
keep
gonna
that on
forget.
there. Unless you're a nice cop, then I take it back. But if you're one of those two-timing
Doing a job.
donating
It's I mean,
crap
I
that
could
don't
imagine
like
watching a bunch of
rules, high school
assholes.
bully with a
But you
bat.
try not to make more problems than
sorry,
good
buddy,
while
but I
doing things
eat
for survival of
high
the
school
Milgram Stanford
bullies
experiment amongst
for
guards or
breakfast.
whatever. They're just a
So,
bunch of fucking
you want the
animals.
whole
They kick
story?
you, saws get
Make
wily,
it deal,
and
or I
dumbasses
let
get
out my
dumbasses.
bipolar.
But
It's
the less
your
time you
choice.
have to talk because these kitten mittens are busy.
The following footage contains
The better.
never-before-seen personal accounts of the suspects involved in this crime. Through in-depth interviews,
Well, at least
we've
the
obtained
argument that
a
you bring
rare
up will be
insight
like,
into
well,
the
that's what I
minds of
do
3
all day, and
criminals
it's
who display
either
behavior
needs to
that
be
is among the
adjusted,
most disturbing we have seen
or
yet.
I can still
you get all fucking crazy like this.
Aaron Fryer's
Well,
murder
usually
was
you'd have the
reportedly one of
conversation
the
with them
most
before
gruesome
they
homicides
beat
Medford
the hell
police
out of
had
somebody
seen.
with a
The
baseball bat.
investigative
'Cause it
team
makes
assigned
it
to the case
that
knew
much
there was
easier to
significant
not
cause
go,
for concern
well, I would say
just
that
from
much
viewing
easier,
the
but in the
crime
end of
scene
that,
alone.
you're going to fucking do what I
Aaron's
tell you
two
at this
youngest
point in time.
daughters, Sierra and Olivia, walked out of their bedroom the morning of October 2nd, 2017,
I'm in charge of you now
to find the
until
horrifying
I'm done with
evidence
my
of the crime.
grammatics and,
But their
well,
father was
Battle
nowhere to be
Readiness
found.
Foundation
The two,
says
who were not
you're
yet in high school,
not
called their
done
father's
being
girlfriend for help,
enriched as a
and it was not
photon.
long before the
And
police were
there's reason
involved.
not to keep you in
Only a
that
few
system
hours
any
later,
longer than you need to be.
investigators picked up and
It's,
detained 3
you
young
know, it's
individuals
actually
walking roadside a short
after
distance from Aaron's
MIT
abandoned
3
Silver
with
Mercury
MIT
Marquis.
Cats,
His eldest daughter,
3 times you
15-year-old
take
Ellen
it,
Rose
or
Fryer,
officer
was part
training
of
or
the
something
trio.
like that, you
Her 19-year-old
really are
boyfriend,
kind of out of
Gavin Curtis
that
McFarlane,
ring. Now,
and his longtime
does
friend,
that mean it's over? No,
22-year-old Russell
not
Pearson
necessarily.
Jones,
But
accompanied
that
her.
means that
What's
probability
your first
from
name?
where you're getting it
Mike.
from, if
Okay,
it was
Mike what?
ever to do that,
Mike
still
Smith?
has some.
Yeah, it kind of sounds like one of those weird names. Mike Smith does
Come on.
sound like a very common
Swing momentum, we'll call it.
I haven't
back.
had him down or anything. Go ahead.
I
Okay.
don't really have
It's not really in the area of the AO. No, I get it. Again,
Just go ahead
back
and
from
stand
those
there, check your
critters
feet real quick.
yesterday.
There you
But
go.
you know what? That's a bit of bullshit to what the total MOSs are and the training indexes and what you have against what those numbers might be.
You seem like a nice one.
I appreciate it.
How about
All right.
I only make it hard on the back.
what are we doing?
I actually started my own protection.
So again, you know, one of the things in possible warden problem there to the chess game, there is a chess table at Delhi County or Delaware County, right?
Okay, so you're gonna
Well,
protect like
they
runaways?
give you paper and a pencil, but I mean, as far as taking away
Yeah.
everything else from you,
So you provide
giving you westerns.
protection for runaways and give them
Oh,
like a place to
all
live?
the crazies.
Okay.
Well, you'd want to run that. Now, again,
Ellen
you
was a
have that
sophomore
insight.
student at
I mean,
South
really, an
Medford High
evaluation
School,
of one of the
Medford,
guards
Oregon.
will tell you,
And
well,
Gavin was a previous
I'm
student
just
who had dropped
asking
out a quarter
about what
before his
the
graduation.
the floor
Ellen would tell police
pattern
that she met
looks like
Gavin
for the
walking through
game
South's hallways.
model, how to score
According to Ellen,
points.
she reached out via Facebook Messenger
And
and started a
this
conversation that
became
would evolve
one of
into a
those.
forbidden
Well, it's not really. What do you mean?
romance.
It's like instead of
She, only
just
15, was
Delhi
underage,
County, right?
and Gavin,
There's
19,
a lunch
was her
line,
lover.
except for it's the grocery
Friends and
store,
family
the
were
gas
appalled,
station, and a
but
few
no one
other
as much
hitting
as
spots
Ellen's
around the
father.
farm.
Aaron, in addition
There's
to
the
Ellen's
kid
mother,
gravity
Maggie,
stuff where they're
immediately
all
set
posted
clear
down
boundaries.
here at the
She was no longer
school
allowed to see
learning
Gavin.
A, B's, and C's.
Characteristic to many teenagers who do not get their way, Ellen rebelled. She snuck out and lied to see him.
Me,
secretly
most time I
maintaining
was
their
out down
bond.
this route
It was
somewhere
not
fishing
long
in the
before
hole,
Ellen's
going,
lies caught up
"Ew,
to
those
her,
great."
and Aaron discovered that instead of staying the night at a friend's as she'd been claiming, she was sleeping over at Gavin's.
Trouble, brother.
Aaron, furious, stormed over to Gavin's house, pounded on his door, and threatened him, warning him not to come near his daughter again, or else. It was following this incident that the couple, in addition to Russell, who claimed to own a protection
After action
business,
report,
developed an insidious
interrogation,
plan that reached far
investigation,
beyond sneaking out or
anthropology,
running away. As is typical of
archaeology,
many teenagers,
cold case.
they began to conspire to murder Ellen's father, who Ellen alleged had abused her. Although they
Well,
initially intended to execute their plan after the new year,
one
when
of the
Ellen
things
would
about
turn
the
16,
schizo,
Ellen
in
began
some
to claim the
degree, you have
abuse
to
was
kind of
growing
get them on the
worse.
plan of
And I
ego
was
and
shocked.
pride, lust,
And that's the
envy,
one that talks about
and or
abuse.
logics that help
And
you
further,
say,
that she was pregnant with
I know
child.
myself and I know my
This spurred
enemy.
a sense of urgency
You
that
know, I'm
drove them to
taking
act
my
sooner
concept
rather than
and
later.
because as
On
soon
the
as you
Saturday
get to a
preceding
big
the
brother,
crime, when
right,
Ellen
that
was
ego
absent
shit
attending a high school
gets
band
clipped.
event, Gavin and Russell
And
attempted to break
you
into
know,
her house
well,
through
if
her
you
bedroom
you
window
are big
with
brothers
murder
like
in
that, and
mind.
you're a little
Messaging
slothful, or
Ellen
the
all
pride's
the
not
while.
going to back that
They
up
quickly found
because
that
your
Aaron's girlfriend
ego
was asleep in the room
or whatever
and
that
ran
is,
off.
and that's a real quick
Although the attempt
conversation.
drew
You'd see
attention
how
and
people would
concern,
get going,
the
and
police were not involved
you're
at
gonna
that
adjust
point.
accordingly. And if
Aaron
it
would
is
take his daughter
negative
up from the
after
band
that point,
event,
or you
take
can't
her and her
adjust
siblings Halloween
positive,
shopping and treat them to Burger King
whatever
the next day.
variable
Return to
that
their
may
home
be,
to watch
being
a
a
Sunday
big
night
area,
movie.
a
The
big
events that
freaking
followed the
area
next
operation.
morning were a tragic contrast to this seemingly wholesome day of family
Well, you'd say
events.
schools are too big. You'd say they need to be
With so
smaller
many
in
Kinder
terms of
Treats.
the 20 kids per class, round robins, per grades in an area, chip out accordingly. I mean, you gotta look at the military as a whole and say, generally, it does. They can shoot them anywhere the hell it wants after the test. But, you know, inside of an area, they just need a general model to where the location is for it. But you can't ship, well, other than that area,
Gavin and
which
Russell
ones are
again
going where.
arrived outside of Ellen's
And again,
bedroom window
yeah,
in the
I
early
mean,
hours of that Monday morning.
it's not
Ellen
necessarily
prompted Gavin to enter, and he
unreasonable to think
obliged,
that,
while
well,
Russell remained
even in a
outside in her
prison they
yard.
have
Over
a
a period of an
demographic,
hour or
you're
so,
just looking at
Gavin
a
and Ellen
portional
whimsically discussed their
demographic, a more
future, full of
concentrated
marriage
matter
and lifelong
of
love.
what would be
But
the
this was only to
homogenized set
pass
outside
time.
by
They
the
were waiting
ratio
for
of
Aaron,
separating
who
that
rested on the
kind of
living room
stuff out
couch
of
to fall asleep.
civilization while
Eventually, they heard
refining it back
snoring,
through a
and Gavin
crucible
began to
that
make
says
his
at
way
least
to the
Uncle
living
Sam
room.
checked it off.
His
If
first attempt
if
failed when he
later
accidentally kicked
they
the trash
are
can.
still
It
screwed
was
up
still
ghost
dark.
guns,
Aaron
serial
woke up,
numbers, or
Gavin
whatever,
retreated to the bedroom,
it's
and Ellen pretended
trackable
that she had
to
to use the restroom. Oblivious to his impending fate, Aaron
at least
purportedly said to
reasonable to
Ellen,
bring up
"Stop
stuff.
scaring me with all these people breaking in
Well, they
lately."
don't keep coming up.
When the two heard his snoring once more, Ellen handed
Well,
Gavin
check
an
out Army
aluminum
and the
baseball
kids.
bat, something
Sam.
Aaron had kept close by for protection,
Cokes you gotta
and
pay
told
attention
Gavin,
to.
"Take him out." After Gavin was finished, he sent Ellen a message informing her that
Do the math.
it was done. Russell, who had stood outside with a machete for backup, entered the home at that point to assist with transporting Aaron's body. Russell reported that he was shocked and that he immediately retreated to the bathroom, sickened by the scene of the crime. Aaron's face, as shared by Russell, was scary. Due to the nature of Aaron's fatal injuries, Gavin wrapped a towel around Aaron's head and a blanket around his body. Russell, holding the blanket at Aaron's feet, and Gavin, holding it at his head, carried his body out to Aaron's own car and hoisted him into its trunk. Ellen was the last to re-enter her home. She stole money out of her recently murdered father's wallet, said goodbye to her sisters, who later told police they heard their father say a bad word when they were just waking up for school, and retrieved her dog before leaving. The trio proceeded to drive to Walmart while Aaron's body remained in the trunk. Ellen used the money she had stolen to buy junk food and hair dye. Before leaving, they walked into an SSI building so that Russell, who was on disability for reasons we'll learn later, could retrieve money with Gavin serving as his rep payee. The following eerie footage captures these moments. dumped Aaron's body off an embankment along the side of a road. Also off the embankment alongside the road, they threw various incriminating pieces of trash and clothing articles. They ditched Aaron's car and walked away with plans of hiding low in an abandoned house and eventually retreating to California.
He dropped his body off on the side of like a pretty well-known road, man. Like some lady was like walking her dog and then found his body.
We interviewed dozens of friends and family who knew these suspects, and we found that almost all of them shared the same sentiment.
I spent like the whole year with her and Dan doing competitions and whatever. Someone pulled me aside, was like, "Did you hear what happened with Ellie Fryer?" And I was like, "No, I haven't heard anything." And literally a week or two previously, I had spoken to her and been around her.
It shocked me. It was a shock.
It was a little bit shattering. It was a murder and a really kind of mysterious and gruesome one. And I don't think anybody was expecting that.
All signs aside, no one expected that this would happen.
Think about this. Your daughter's 15, 16, and she's with a grown-ass man doing drugs. I would tell him never talk to my daughter again. And it's like some Romeo and Juliet type. You know what I mean? They're not supposed to be together, but they want to be together.
Romeo and Juliet laws could be applied there because of the 3-year age difference.
What is a Romeo and Juliet law?
So they do something drastic, you know. And unfortunately, it was taking Aaron's life in such a messed up way.
They found like actual evidence of them planning to kill both Ellie's father and the other guy whose name I can't remember, his dad as well.
Who's your father? Russell Jones Sr. Oh. What's so bad about him? His past, as well as my past, growing up with him over 22 years.
I know at the very least, Gavin and Ellie were present when one or both of them beat Ellie's father to death with a baseball bat.
I don't know,
They,
not a lot you
then
can.
took his car
There would have
with
been
his body, dumped him not
a
even
rights
that
thing,
far
but I
away
can't say with a clip
in
in
a
like
ditch.
that about
Well,
asking
not that
questions.
long
But
after
either
in the
way,
car, I think, which
either
is
way.
crazy. Medford police at least say it's one of the goriest scenes they've ever
she
seen.
certainly knew Romeo and
All
Juliet.
factors involving these specific 3 individuals culminated with a deadly
Again, I would
storm
say
that
to the
ultimately
system,
led to
it
Aaron's
would be
traumatic
hard for
murder.
her, the house
This is the
pictures,
beginning of an
to
end
come
for Ellen
into
Fryer.
it,
She
what's
sits
going to
stiffly
happen
in an
there.
uncushioned chair.
Very
The walls are
young,
bare
doesn't
and
really
narrowly
know
enclosing.
anything, starting to
Experts
figure
designed this
stuff
room to spur
out.
feelings of
The house,
discomfort,
the
isolation,
family,
and unfamiliarity.
the
The
that the
interrogation
mother
has
brought
already
stuff
begun.
in.
Throughout the
Has
following
it, there's a lot of
interrogations, we will
connection with
analyze all
that.
forms of communication,
It changes a
forensic
lot of the
linguistics,
mess
and
in
the
terms
complex
of,
relationship between suspects'
well,
criminal
poor
behavior
cop
and
inside
unique
here.
underlying psychology.
That's a lot of
Only
trouble. I
hours
mean,
previously, Ellen stood outside her
realistically,
home while
let's
Gavin
dial
murdered her
the
father.
clock back
After she wrings her
a
hands and
long,
cracks her
long
fingers
way, or
one by
just to
one,
Jody
she stares
compound
stoically at the camera.
interrogation from Explore With Us. That was a good one. He brought out Jody.
Her
She's
behavior
in
is
there. It's a
markedly
whole Mormon
inconsistent with the
compound
nature
of
of
the
her
whole
recent experiences.
region's fucked up
An
of rich
important
people
aspect
having.
of reading body language
Oh,
is observing
hon.
individuals' baseline nonverbal cues, followed by
I mean, we
clusters
could just
of
do
nonverbal
round
cues,
robins on
which
this,
can
dust
occur
you off and make
consecutively
you a
or
cop in no time
simultaneously.
at all. But it's
Comparing
a
these in
quick
the
grind
framework of
anyways. The
individual
difference is,
circumstances, including environment, is an additional critical consideration. Upon contemplating Ellen's nonverbal language, also
at the end of
known
that,
as
you need to be
paralanguage,
good and hard
or
and
the
doing your
language that
thing
she
for a long
conveys
time.
through
And that
vocal
doesn't
tone,
mean
pitch,
that you're
prosody, volume, etc.
that.
They may
Because
assist
again,
law
you know,
enforcement
you
in
have to
building
imagine,
criminal
well,
profiles,
usually that's where you
determining
get it on the
suspects'
uppity Richie
motivations,
team
or
stuff,
even
like to give it
detecting
up like
deception.
that. Of course,
Ellen
there's
shows
a bit of
little
a
to no
survival
arousal
mechanism, ladies, and I'd hope
behaviorally,
one
or
of you at least
emotionally. Mark
invoke
this as our
Judith
first
to tell you
significant behavioral
about shake
observation.
what your mama made
Yeah,
gave
so that's
you. I mean,
the interesting thing is that if you met Ellie, she doesn't seem like the type of person that would hurt somebody. She really was a sweet and soft.
what was the school
individual.
game on
I
that
think
one?
that's what was so
You
shady about it was that it
know, she
didn't
couldn't
really make
find a
sense
nice
to me
15-year-old
that
boy
someone
from
like Ellie would do that.
from school.
Didn't
You
seem
know,
like
I
her
mean,
at all.
She was really sweet. She was a really great person.
Question,
so I was
Sharps.
like, okay, I can be friends with